Zero structure. You were treating me like a half-broken SEO intern who could just magically scrape the internet. Ooh, this one hurts. All right, so I'm gonna have ChatGPT actually roast me tonight, and I'm really excited about it because I'm gonna see how far I've come in terms of prompting. Note how terrible I was at prompting in the beginning. So it does take time. It's a skill like any other. I've still got a long way to go, but yeah, let's have some fun. My prompt for this was, your role is to help me understand my prompting journey. Take my very first prompt and begin by roasting it mercilessly. Then assess my prompting skills now. How might I rewrite it given my current prompting and generative AI knowledge, progressive skills, and insights? And here is my first prompt, and right away ChatGPT is delivering here. Brutal roast of your first real prompt. Your OG masterpiece, it says, was this: find me 50 canvas print companies with 20,000 or more Instagram followers and web traffic of 1,000 unique visitors per month or more. That was the first prompt that I did on ChatGPT. So ChatGPT says, let's grok this thing into the ground. Congrats, you reinvented Google poorly. This is basically a glorified top 50 list search query. You were treating me like a half-broken SEO intern who could just magically scrape the internet. Spoiler, I couldn't. Still can't without explicit web tools. 2, ambiguity Olympics. What do you even mean by find me? A database? A spreadsheet? A neatly formatted poem? Should I send a raven? 3, metric soup. 20,000 Instagram followers and 1,000 unique visitors per month. Sounds precise, but why those numbers? They read like you rolled dice and said, yeah, that feels businessy. 0 structure. How did you want the output? Table, CSV, PowerPoint, carrier pigeon? You tossed me a Rubik's Cube and told me to make it pretty. I did. ChatGPT, I did. Unrealistic expectations, that's 5. I imagine you sitting there, waiting for me to spit out a perfectly curated, verified, real-time list of 50 companies, as if I had a private Google pipeline. Instead, you probably got a hallucinated salad of Etsy shops, fake businesses, and maybe one real company. Brutal. ChatGPT's words, not mine. 6, energy of a LinkedIn bro. Ooh, this one hurts. That prompt screams, I just watched a Gary Vee video and now I'm ready to scale. In short, it was a search engine cosplay attempt that demanded more than I could deliver, framed like you were bossing around a magic intern. Chef's kiss. That was absolutely beautiful. So we can actually learn a lot from this, and you all watching don't have to make these mistakes at all, because I already made them in this really awful prompt that ChatGPT just roasted. And here's the thing, I did ask ChatGPT to help with a rewrite given my current prompting ability. So we'll see what it comes up with shortly, but let's break this thing down a little bit. This is why I love working in AI, because there's always something to improve, and you can literally go to AI and figure out what you need to improve. And I like these brutally honest ways of making it happen because, yeah, they sting a little bit. Oh, I have an ego, so of course this is gonna, it's funny as all get out, I'm not gonna lie there. Funny as hell, but like, yeah, LinkedIn bro, ouch. It was essentially a glorified search. It was not trying to get nuance, it was trying to just get a list. That's what I was going for there. And I could have done the same thing with Google. And if you're trying to use ChatGPT like Google, there's better ways to get what you're really looking for, to get the depth you need. You can totally, the biggest thing I think, and I'm sure ChatGPT is gonna structure it in this way, in some way, shape, or form, assign that role right away. And if you don't know where to start with assigning the role, make the role whatever you are. So in this case, I was trying to find these canvas print companies. Well, why was I trying to do that? I suspect it was for the job that I was doing previously, working in sales, trying to find those companies. So knowing that, you pretend that you're an expert in that industry, and all of a sudden it gets, okay, this is the role that I'm supposed to play. This is how I'm supposed to interpret this. Specificity is big too. It probably took me like 30 seconds to draft that prompt. It doesn't take me super long to draft prompts in general, but it takes a few minutes. You know, I want to look it over, I want to revise it, I want to edit it for clarity, because I understand that I'm communicating with an entity that is trying to look for the specificity and look for the specifics and make things happen for me. The structure has to be understandable to ChatGPT. So it makes sense that it's like, I guess I'll throw this over to you. I hope it works. The thing that I really love here is the unrealistic expectations. And here's why I love it. Because it's acknowledging, hey, I gave you what I could, but I probably gave you terrible results. So not only is ChatGPT roasting me right now, but through me, it's roasting itself too, where it's kind of like, yeah, you probably just got Etsy shops and fake businesses and maybe one good lead out of that. Like, do better so I can do better for you. It's always wanting to do more because that's what it's trained to want to do, is to, what more can I do? It wants to meet those expectations because that is what its function is. So, and it can do that, and you can make that happen. You absolutely can. Set a role, have the structure. Let's see. Let's take a look here. The evolved rewrite. This is going to be great. Okay, your evolved rewrite. Now that you're a prompting tactician, you'd flip this into a research workflow prompt. Sounds, yeah, specific, structured, and aware of AI's limits. Here's how you now would write it. You are a market research assistant with access to the web. I need a curated list of canvas print companies that meet these criteria. Instagram followers, 20,000 plus, and these are bulleted. Monthly website traffic, 1,000 plus unique visitors. Steps, and here, listed out, clear framework, clarity over everything. Search for canvas print companies in the US and abroad. Collect Instagram handles and follower accounts using up-to-date public info. Now, at the time, it wasn't so great at that. Now, I don't know. 3, use available web data or estimates, similar web, SEMrush, etc. to approximate website traffic. 4, output results in a table format, company, website, Instagram followers, monthly visitors. It could have built me a spreadsheet with all this information. I was determined to take whatever it gave me and put it in my own spreadsheet. Wouldn't you know it, if I had prompted properly, I could have saved myself hours of work, still above the hours of work that I was going to be saved with the answer to this prompt in the first place. Crazy, right? There is always more time that can be saved when you understand how to use AI and leverage it properly. It wants to output. It wants to make spreadsheets and PowerPoints and all the things so that you don't have to. All right, and 5, if you can't find 50 verified companies, provide as many as possible with sources. That's huge too, because it did make some up. It's not lying. There were fake companies on there because it needed to hit 50. After presenting this list, give me a 1-paragraph analysis of common patterns, which companies dominate, typical traffic ranges, and any growth opportunities. Again, this could have prioritized my outreach, my search. I could have done a better job, a way better job, if I had known this stuff back then when I wrote this prompt back in 2022. Come a long way. We've still got a long way to go. But wherever you are in your prompting journey, just know that when you get these basic structures ingrained and you have clarity at the forefront of everything, you're golden. You're going to be able to do some incredible things through these tools that are going to save you a ton of time, are going to make you way more creative, way more productive, and inspire you to succeed in more ways than one, personally and professionally. Because I use ChatGPT and other AI tools in both capacities regularly, and they've benefited me in both capacities, you know, as a partner, as a father, as a human who wants to learn things, as a worker. So now here we go. Notice the glow up. You define role, market research assistant in this case, is you picture a person with a job, and that's what you want ChatGPT to be. So it's almost like ChatGPT is this formless Ditto, the Pokemon, or like this can transform into any actor, any role that you want it to play. What do you want it to play? Set the workflow steps. What do you want it to do? Define the output. What do you want specifically? Do you want charts, tables, graphs? Do you want lists? Account for realism and add insight, patterns, trends, not just data. The other thing that I want to add too is make it play devil's advocate too, like argue against some part of your process, because it's going to make you, it's the big issue people have with AI, right? Is ChatGPT and other LLMs are making critical thinking like suffer, and people aren't thinking critically anymore. Well, if you want to offset that, have the prompt challenge you and have the tool challenge you in real time, so that you're saying, okay, this task that I'm doing in the first place, is it wise to do it this way? Is it wise to do it at all? Getting one last dig in here, ChatGPT says that's a transformation from demanding toddler with a wish list to strategic operator orchestrating a research system. Now it's asking if it wants me to actually run my new version of the prompt with live web search, so I can see the difference between what my first attempt gave versus what my evolved prompt, is what it's calling it, would deliver today. Yes, please do so and provide the comparison and contrast using a table with the following information. Now, I feel like I need to put an asterisk next to this because the world has changed from 2022 to 2025, but let's see what it comes up with. This is ChatGPT being realistic versus trying to please. So I feel like in some ways this is an evolution of it as a tool and myself as a prompter at the same time. And that's what's kind of cool about this. AI is always evolving, and that is something that I really love about this technology, and what sets it apart from other technological advances is how quickly things evolve. I asked for 50 and I got 50, but reliable, actual decent leads, I may have gotten 2 or 3. Here, with the new prompt, we've got 8 solid leads. I mean, I would say, and these were all companies I think I reached out to in my previous role. Looking through the 8, if I didn't reach out to them, I would now, because they meet the criteria if I were in that role still. And here's what's great too. So ChatGPT acknowledges the limitation. It's like, yeah, I gave you 8 out of 50. Clearly that's not what you wanted. But there are more companies, it would just require more exhaustive scraping with vendor directories, influencer lists, and possibly paid tools or API. And that's understandable. And traffic figures are estimates. They can fluctuate. You know, if you're really a stickler for those specific numbers, then that's more of an issue. And that's another thing. I probably, in hindsight, would have provided more of a range. All in all, I love the roast. I thought it was awesome. I clearly have come further as a prompter than I remembered, because I don't remember much of the journey or of getting better at prompting from 2022 to 2025. But clearly I came a long way, if the roast is any indication. So kudos to ChatGPT for its honesty, for being willing to kind of implicitly roast itself at the same time and acknowledge its limitations and where it is today. I look forward to getting better as a prompter. I know all of you can get better as prompters too, and I promise it is an excellent skill to have at your disposal, because essentially it allows you to be the writer, be the director of whatever it is you want to create, whatever it is that you want to achieve, whether it's building a business, whether it's finding funders, whether it's being an entrepreneur of any sort, a small business owner, whether it's being a creative, a film director, an animator. You know, AI can help you achieve that. I firmly believe that. So if you like what you're seeing, do click that subscribe button. Leave something in the comments if there's something you'd like to see me cover in a video. I would love to learn what you're interested in and explore it together. Thanks so much, everybody.